Delhi, Rajkot. That's great. Kolkata. Amazing. We have people joining us from all across India. Great. We have somebody from Pune, Tripura.
That's wonderful. We have like a range of audiences from everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, Professor Rana is from Punjab. Welcome. Mr. Ram is from Delhi NCR. Great. Those who have just joined, please mention the name of your city and the place where you work. Okay, Mr. Naik is from Andhra Pradesh. Mr. Khan is from Bangalore. Welcome, everyone. Okay, we have Dr. Seema Srivastav from Gurugram, Mr. Mobi Das from Trivandrum. Welcome. Those who have just joined, please help us understand the place where you're joining us from. Please mention the name of your city and also the place where you work.
We also have Dr. Shanti from Namakkal. Welcome, Dr. Shanti. Good evening. We have also Dr. Shalom from Andhra Pradesh. Welcome, Dr. Shalom. Good evening. We have Dr. Sairam from Trichy and Shimana from Kolkata, and also Dr. Kumari from Bihar. Welcome all. Good evening. Good evening, Ms. Nisha.
Amazing. We have some international representations as well. We have Mansoor Ali from Karachi, Pakistan. Yeah, welcome, Dr. Ramesh Tripathi from Assam.
We also have Dr. Dhanlakshmi from Kanyakumari. Welcome, ma'am. And also Danya from Kerala. We also have Mr. Jairaj from Ramnath. Welcome, sir.
Welcome, Mr. Subhash Chandra from Karnataka, Dr. Reddy from Andhra Pradesh.
Good afternoon, Ranjita. Welcome. This is wonderful. We have a Fulbright scholar, uh, Ravi Kumar. He's from Telangana.
Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We will start this webinar sharp at 4:30. But till then, I request all of you to think about this problem. As a teacher, what do you think is the significant challenge that we face today as a teacher? Please mention your responses in the chat box. As a teacher, what is the most significant challenge that we face today? Please mention your comments in the chat box. Amazing. Grabbing the attention of the students, behavioral issues in the classes.
We have AI and shortcuts also. I mean, that's probably the most common problem that teachers are facing these days. Yeah.
Yes, lack of respect. Dr. Pradeep Kumar mentioned that our students have no idea how to solve their problems.
Peer influence. It's a must be spoken about topic. Yes.
Very well. Digital disturbance that we face.
Extended reading going beyond the text. Yes, ma'am. That is truly a challenge.
Very true. Well, rightly put, Mr. Mahato. We prepare the students, but we don't prepare them to encounter the challenges. Very nicely said. Okay, I also request you to think about what kind of support do you think we require to overcome these challenges? What do you think? What kind of support do we require? Okay, we will have to involve parent also in process. Okay, we said we should get digitally trained, technologically trained. Very good. Okay, students counseling, psychological support. Okay, thank you, Mr. Khan.
Regular monitoring is important. Yes, sir. Yes, the LSOW skills are also quite taking a hit in classroom. We need to improvise it. Yes. Yes, Mr. Mato, it's important. Multilingualism has become a common classroom challenge these days.
Don't you think that we require some support from the institution or the place where we work?
Definitely, sir. Definitely, we do. I think how Miss Mishra says here that we need to discuss the challenges as the teachers. That is what we are doing here. We are discussing it. We're glad we are providing such a platform.
Okay, Miss Deepa says that we should have some outdoor tours. So that will enrich the teaching and learning process. Amazing. Yeah, thank you everyone for your responses. We'll be starting shortly in a minute's time. Okay, I think Kavita, we are good to go. Let's get
Yes.
started.
Okay. Namaste and a very good evening to all our respected teachers, researchers, scholars, and my dear members of the ELTAI family. A very warm welcome to everyone joining us for today's ELTAI webinar. I'm Kavita R, and along with my co-host, Mr. Rahul Kale, I will be anchoring this interactive and special session this evening. The topic of today's webinar is Teaching English, Shaping Futures, a journey from India to Scotland.
Well, before we move into today's conversation, a brief introduction for those who are new to our community. The English Language Teachers Association of India has been working relentlessly to support the English language teachers through their conferences, webinars, publications, and professional development initiatives across India and abroad. May I now play a short video introducing the world of ELTAI? Can we have the video, please? Thank you. That truly reflects ELTAI's vision of nurturing educators, teachers at every stage of their professional journey. Well, before we begin, here are a few important points to ensure that everything runs smoothly. Please post your queries in the chat box during this webinar. We encourage you to stay connected with us throughout this session. Certificates will be issued within 10 working days. Please avoid sending us follow-up emails immediately after this webinar to prevent delays. A feedback form will be shared at the end. Please fill it out to receive your certificates. Certificates will be given only to school, UG and PG students and ELTAI members. And foreign nationals also will receive their certificates. We encourage those who are not members, please join this community and be a part of this vibrant community. Please check your inboxes and the spam folder particularly for the certificate email. The certificate email might have gone to your spam folder. And we invite non-members again to join our professional community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rahul Khale, sir. Now, I would like to have the pleasure of introducing our speaker for today's webinar, Mr. Arindam Sengupta, an educator whose professional journey truly reflects commitment, continuity, and global engagement in English language teaching. Now, Mr. Sengupta, sir, as you can see, he is a teacher trainer of ESL under the Directorate of School Education, Government of West Bengal, since April 2000. He's been a practicing teacher trainer and material developer of the West Bengal Board of Primary Education from 2003 to 11, trained by Dr. Raymond George Mackay of the University of Edinburgh, UK. He's a long-standing global professional member of TESOL, International Association, USA. Currently, he's pursuing an MSc in TESOL at the University of Stirling, Scotland. He was awarded the prestigious British Council UK India Scholarship for the English language teachers in 2024. Arindam has been a member of the State English Textbook Writing Committee of the British Council Project English from 2007 to 2010, and he's been a member of the Board of Studies, West Bengal Council of Higher Education, alumna of the Texas Intensive English Program in Austin, Texas, USA, and the nodal officer of the Education to Employability Project 2011 to 2013, run by Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha in collaboration with the Vikshamala Education Research Society. He's also been the coordinator of various English training workshops throughout the states, the DIETS, District Institute of Educational Training, in the American Center, Kolkata. Apart from this, he has been consulted on coursebooks at the state level and on developing resources and supplementary materials for use in classrooms for young learners and teens. He has a passion for striving towards continuing professional development by updating his teaching skills through e-courses from the University of Oregon and Maryland, offered by Velo New Delhi, and conducting workshops on ESL and delivering talks and conferences and seminars on ELT, both nationally and internationally. He also presented at the 49th TESOL International Convention in Toronto, Canada, 2015. Arindam loves interacting with people and from a network which could help in sustainable growth and development in English language teaching and training in India. He loves photography, reading, and listening to the country music. Now, friends, before we formally invite our guest into our today's interview, we would like to begin a little differently. Why not let his journey speak for himself, not just by words? What you're about to see is a short visual glimpse from a guest's recent academic visit to a university in Scotland, a moment that captures learning beyond borders. This clip will also serve as a perfect starting point for today's conversation. Shall we have the video, please?
Banu, can we please have that video?
Sir, can you share Arindram's?
Yeah. Arindam sir, I think would it be possible for you to share that video with us?
I am not open. I haven't opened it yet. So maybe we can do it later. We can
Yeah,
start the
not
session
a
here.
problem.
That
Yes,
would be better. Yeah.
that would be fine. No
Yeah.
problem, sir. Thank you. Well, we started this year 2025 interviewing two Fulbright fellows, and we are concluding this year with an interview with yet another scholarship holder who is pursuing his MSc in TESOL. So, Arindam sir, how would you describe your professional journey so far in just a few words?
Well, first of all, I should thank ELTAI for this unique privilege of really inviting me to this webinar where I can speak about my professional journey and share the narrative with a big group of teachers here, those who have joined. So, well, I am running the 25th year of my teaching job. So it's a long way that I have come. And during this time period, I have been a teacher of English. I've been a trainer of English mainly. So though I graduated with a master's in English literature, but with the passage of time, I began having more interest in English language teaching. So that also occurred due to a practical exposure that I received just after 4 years of my service. And so it has been more than 20 years I am into ELT. So literally, I have stopped studying literature now for the sake of it because I find that more is required for language. So we need, as practitioners in school especially, I think now from experience that you need more expertise in English language teaching skills. And thereby, that is more required. So this is my journey in a very few short sentences.
Arindam sir, you have come from the school education system, yet you have represented India globally. Now, how has this shaped your identity as a teacher, may I ask?
Well, it is true that now I belong to a school community. I belong to the school system. But now, after having all these international exposures that my profile speaks of, and at present I am pursuing the MSc in TESOL from UK. So I have stepped onto a global platform. It is right. So I have a dual identity now. So I can really strut my feathers and say this. So I am rooted as a practicing teacher, school teacher, come trainer, and yet I'm a part of a wider professional community that spans continents, research networks, and policy spaces. So I see myself expanded, much more expanded, looking out beyond the horizon with newer dreams and aspirations. That is what I can tell you.
Okay, that's truly inspirational, sir. But then, do you feel that school teachers in India, they underestimate themselves, their potentials for such international opportunities? Or sometimes they are so bogged up with their own work that they don't get any opportunity to look at these opportunities?
You are absolutely right because school teachers, especially in India, they assume that scholarships are meant only for university faculty or the elite schools where English is the first language, the English medium ecosystems, what we say. So they hardly have any idea about the British Council scholarships or the regional English language office scholarships, really, or the American Center based in Delhi. So they don't know that these scholarships, especially, they target or they support school level practitioners mostly and who are embedded in government schools or low resource contexts. So this is very important. Low resource context, I mean, even teachers teaching in the rural areas, they are also eligible to apply. But it is a tragic point that these teachers, they don't know about these scholarships and therefore they don't come to apply. So the underestimation, I think, it comes from the limited access to information, first and foremost. And then comes, followed by it, is the lack of mentoring. Because teachers, they constantly need mentoring. Like the students that we mentor, even we teachers, we need the guides of those who know much more than us. So it is a continuous process. So a scholarship, getting to know about a scholarship also depends on your mentors who are going to guide you or who are going to help you what next. So this question is important. And coupled with these, I can also say that there is a lot of difficulty in decoding the application process, because when you apply for international scholarships, it's a huge form. Because I remember having shown a form to one of my colleagues and he was literally taken aback. He said, no, I can't do this loads of work because it runs after pages. So those who have done the Fulbright scholarships, they know that how detailed the forms are. So you need to write everything under the sun that comes to you, what you have done and what you crave to do, what are the different phases. And there are numerous things that you need to highlight on. So all these coupled with a deep-seated belief that my everyday school work can never go global. What do I do in school? Because I consider that I only teach the hackneyed school syllabus, because that is what stops school teachers especially, because you do the same thing again and again and again for years and years, and that makes you go dumb after a certain point of time, because you don't get arenas to explore, you don't get opportunities to experiment, and you are neither rewarded nor punished. So whatever you do. So everything coupled makes you become stuck in a hole, kind of, because I consider myself that from the early years of my teaching, I thought that I'm a square peg in a round hole. So I'm not fitting well, because teaching becomes very boring after a certain period of time. So you need these fresh avenues where you can really get a breath of fresh air and also get yourself updated with the current techniques and methods of teaching that are going around across the globe.
Well, that's very interesting. Arindam sir, if you could give us an overview, how did you start? Where did you begin? What triggered you to apply for this process? If you could show us something, that will be great. And we look forward to listening to you.
Yes, well, from the very beginning of my teaching career, I really had this urge, that is, I need to do more or I need to study more. So once after I got introduced to the world of English language teaching, that started with the Project English way back in Kolkata. It was in the year 2003 when the British Council, they initiated a program to revise the existing textbooks at that period. Because during that time, 2003 and 2004, the English textbooks in Kolkata or in Bengal, they were taught along with the mother tongue. So it was a kind of a mixture, and English was not taught directly. So a British expert, so incidentally, it was Dr. Raymond George Mackey who came here on the British Council commissioned him as a resource person. So he flew in from Edinburgh, UK, to revise the textbooks, take a whole look at how English could be promoted as a school subject, or why students cannot speak. Because we know the reality of Indian classrooms, that despite English being taught as a school subject, even when the students pass out class 12, they are unable to speak a correct sentence in English as well as write independently and confidently a correct grammatical sentence. So what is the use of teaching English? So all these were being discussed, and I was being invited to this seminar or this workshop for 7 days, and there my ideas started to come. And I performed very well when the expert from Scotland, he inducted me into the core team of experts who are going to write the new textbooks. And thereafter, things started to roll on. There was a textbook writing committee framed by the board, where I was inducted as one of the textbook writers. And through hands-on experience and practical training over the years, listening to mentors, attending workshops, conferences, and doing practical work, going to the schools, even at the grassroots levels, training teachers, everything really started to add up to my expertise and my love towards English language teaching. Because then I could understand that it was a never ending world. There's lots and lots to explore. So once you become interested in the world of ELT, you start discovering more and you have the urge to go deeper. So, Rahul, that is what I can say, that I'm still into the journey. I'm getting deeper and deeper, and there's no end. So, the more you go into the English language teaching field, you sense that you know nothing. The more you know, you feel you know nothing. So, that is how it is continuing. Yes.
That is such an important point, sir, especially about the perception that you have in the accessibility and everything. You've not only spoken about these opportunities now, you have first-hand experience in all of them. Now, could you share one transformative moment from your Fulbright scholarship in the US?
Well, the Fulbright scholarship, that it was only for a very short period. It was only 20 days, and it was entitled the Texas Intensive English Program. So it was a very, what should I say? It was a very close-knit program. But one transformative moment, well, if you ask me in that way, it's difficult to say, because every moment is transformative when you go abroad and you see how the teachers deal with the students, how the teacher hands over the real control of the lesson to the students. I think that is one of the prime differences between the US system or the system in Canada or in the United Kingdom. That is, the classroom appears more like a community, negotiating ideas, choices and responsibilities together. So the students and the teacher, they don't have different power equations. So it's unlike India. So it's always a very open space where you can discuss everything under the sun, and you feel that you are a lot free. You're more free. So what I did in the US, what I observed, I co-taught and also reflected upon my own teaching practice. And the most important thing that I should highlight is that the teacher that we read in books here, the teacher is the facilitator, that you get to see there, that the teacher is really the facilitator, because they don't depend on printed materials. The textbook is not the be-all and end-all in the classroom. So student-centered learning in the UK or US is no longer a buzzword. It is practically dealt with. It is something concrete that you can sense when you are there abroad. And it is very emotionally convincing as well, because it is doable. It is practically applicable in resource constraint settings also. Because if I transfer those skills here and try it out with my students here, I will see that it is possible. It can be done. But here, since the whole structure is something different, that we always rely on the textbook, or we are asked to abide by what the text entails us to do. So what happens? The teacher's wings are clipped. We are unable to experiment. We are unable to bring in different ideas that we get from other sources, or try to implement them in our class. Because again, as I said, you are not being allowed, or you are not being praised, or you be criticized as well. So teachers tend to refrain from becoming too much experimentative. So they feel that, okay, if I am doing whatever I'm doing for the previous 10 years, that is okay, because I don't feel that I am being punished or rewarded in any way.
Yeah, I know, sir, you've been a Fulbright fellow. So what lessons did you learn from that fellowship? How was your experience there? And what can we learn from that?
There are several things to learn, but just to say one or two things is what I just said previously, that is how teachers and the students, they deal with each other. So the classroom dynamics, I should say, that is something that we need to understand and practically experience abroad. So learners, they get a lot of leeway, they get a lot of freedom to co-construct goals, reflect on their own progress, demonstrate mastery in multiple ways. So it's not that you only have to perform well in a written exam. So there are other ways that you can express your creativity, or you can express what you already know. So you have different ways how you can evaluate a student. But here, everything is done in the basis of an annual exam and written exam. That is what happens in India. So I should not say that everything that I saw in the West is ideal. That is, there's nothing good in India. No, nothing like that. But what I saw in the US and Canada was that it highlighted the power of designing classrooms where teachers can act more as facilitators and designers of experiences. And assessment and evaluation is a meaningful learning event. It is not something that we just copy and paste from various books, because that is what even sometimes I also do that. I cannot say of other teachers when there's too much pressure, because school teachers are loaded with tremendous pressure in India throughout the year. So there's hardly any breathing space when you can really try to do something novel. So such approaches that I saw in the US or UK, they can be adapted very thoughtfully in our ecosystem as well. If the Indian school, they permit the teachers, give them more freedom to do it. So if teachers are also being asked to contribute as policymakers, I think there could be a huge change in the educational system in schools.
That lesson from the US seemed to echo beyond the single system, sir. That is seriously very true. You've experienced education systems across 3 countries now. What common thread do you see in effective teacher development worldwide?
Well, that is, I think, one of the core areas in the West, teacher development, and India is just it's just picking up. We are yet to have a more deeper flow into teacher development. So there are several things I should say that teacher development is grounded in content in the West. So there's a strong focus on subject-specific pedagogy and curriculum. So you don't go beyond what is necessary, because in India we read a lot which is not very practicable. So that is not the case. And there's a lot of active learning going on during teacher training or teacher methodology or teacher development. So there's a lot of active training. I mean that you have a lot of opportunities to model, rehearse, and analyze real classroom context. Because here, I, as a teacher trainer or as a teacher, I don't get all these opportunities. I wish to go to my nearby school and see how the teachers are teaching there. Or maybe there could be more journeys to other schools in other districts. And this should be a continuous process. That thereby only teachers can come together and form a strong network, because we cannot really progress single-handedly. We need a group. So contextualized learning is something that I found that is very important, which is very much focused in the West, as teachers learn from their real everyday work experience rather than isolated generic workshops. Because here what happens, in India, we suddenly have a workshop that teachers go, but it's only for 1 or 2 days, and then you stop. And you are not being called for what did you learn, and what, there's no authority who looks into the implementation part. But in the West, it is something different. It's strongly linked to what you are doing in the classroom and what you are learning for these generic workshops. So there's a huge collaborative culture abroad. So you get feedback from peers, you get feedback from coaches, you refine your practice in context. But here, I'm very sorry to say, where do we get these opportunities? Do we really get these opportunities to continuously upgrade ourselves? And is there any backup system where we can fall for when we are facing any difficulties? No. So use of models and effective practice, I think demonstrating lessons, video, live modeling. So everything is done in a very well integrated manner abroad. But I am very sorry that we don't get these things. And that is why teaching becomes so very boring, so very hackneyed, and so very difficult also for some teachers, because you tend to lose your interest towards teaching.
Yeah. On a lighter note, unfortunately, we get feedback only during the appraisals.
Right.
There is a very interesting question in the chat box by Santosh Dhanedar, and he asks, does parents' socioeconomic background affect English learning in schools in India and abroad? So, as you experienced the school education abroad as well, so what has been your experience? Does it
It's
affect?
difficult. Yeah, it's difficult to pinpoint something here, because I haven't been to as many schools, or haven't been there for a much more lengthier period of time to really probe into this phase or this topic. So I cannot literally say, but since our country is hugely populated and we see various differences in language and culture within the same school system, so here it is more pronounced. Maybe it is also to some extent there, but I didn't see this much of disparity in an American school. So even always there is a difference. When you have more money, you have more opportunities open. But as we see, our students here are at a very disadvantageous position when they are hailing from lower socioeconomic backgrounds. So they are unable to buy more books, they are unable to hire good teachers, they are unable to go to a better school where they get more exposure in English. So everything again boils down to the socioeconomic factors. But maybe in America is a huge country, so we don't get so much of time. At least I did not get so much of time, because it was a very short period visit, and we had several theoretical classes going on along with practical inputs, and only one or two school visits. So it's very difficult to pinpoint. But in India, we can definitely feel that it is something very crucial, which affects learners of all stages.
Mr. Sengupta, sir, we have one of the audiences asking about for teachers who are passionate about ELT, they have very limited time and workload and resources. What would be their first practical step towards international fellowships or higher studies like TESOL?
The first step, I think you should start to read something. You should you should always have an urge to grow, because that is something which is very difficult to keep burning inside you. Because I can also feel that myself, because sometimes I feel very low, I feel tremendously pressurized, and I feel tremendously tormented because nobody understands the teacher. So when you are doing a lot of academic work in school, you are beset with a lot of problems. There are students' problems, there are administrative problems, there are people, guardians' problems. And coupled with that, you have loads of other different work, the governmental pressures and work. So managing everything, then you have your own family responsibilities. So then after that, if you put on your head something that you're going to read anew, or you start to develop or explore, that is really a very difficult job. But you need to cling to it by little steps. That is how I did. So TESOL came much later in my life. As I said, this is the 25th year of my teaching in a school. So it came much later. So it should have been much earlier, but somehow it did not work. Fate had reserved this TESOL to be at a much advanced stage of my career. So it is sometimes good, something bad. But yes, I used to go to conferences. I used to attend seminars with a very keen intent to develop myself. Because what I see among students today in classrooms, they don't write. Even teachers, when they come to training sessions, they don't note down. They just listen. But when you just listen, you tend to forget. So Even in this age of AI, I keep on telling my students, you need to write at least a word, at least a sentence every day. Even though you are well adept at technology and technological tools, you need to write something, because what you write, it goes directly into your brain. So teachers don't write, because I have done several training workshops for teachers across India. And there at certain sessions, I have to tell my trainees, please, if you don't mind, can you write? So some of them said, sir, you'd be giving us the handouts. I said, yeah, the handouts would be there, but it is different from a live lecture. Why do we need teachers? We need teachers so that we can just gauge on them, whatever they are saying, that it goes distinctly into our minds. So this is what I think teachers need to do, because we are ultimately learners. It is only the other side of the table that we are. I never consider my students that they don't know nothing, because our students are also teaching us many new things, because I am now an old man. My students are the 21st century children. So they are already more informed than me. So I cannot say that they know nothing. So it is only a case that I'm at the desk, the teaching desk. So this is what, again, I recall the picture that I saw in the US, that you have a total free stance. There's nothing, no power equations. But in India, it's always, you have to consider the teacher someone very high on top. And that lowers, or that shortens, or expands rather, it expands the gap. You cannot get close to the teacher unless and until you become together. You can never, the effective filter needs to become low. So our students are always anxious, especially in English classes, because they don't have the English skills. Now, how do they master? It is similar, like you have to start talking. Nobody can teach you English unless you do it yourself. So again, bit by bit. So you cannot hurry. Similar for teacher training or teachers to develop, start humbly. At least read one article every day or per week. Try to gather something from the newspaper that you can apply in your classes. You can talk with the students, because students like to talk something about the real life, something that they can relate to. And what do we do in textbooks? We start teaching what is there, and students are hardly interested in doing textbook work, because most of them has already been done at home. They have their home teachers, and the teachers, their home tutors, they already do most of them. So when they come to school, if the teacher is not in a position to deliver something different, the students start to create disturbance. And that is what I stop them from doing, because I have always things in my mind that I can really relate to with their setting or with their life, and they feel excited about it.
Yeah. When we go to the classroom, we deal with a lot of constraints. We deal with a lot of challenges. Now, as you have attended a couple of workshops, seminars, conferences, and many more teacher training programs, what do you think? What kind of support a school or administration should give to the teacher so that they enhance their professional skills?
That is, I think, one of the most crucial things. That is, the administration should really come forward. Because as I said, that school teachers are not expected to rise higher, or they're not expected to know more, because you are not demanded. That is what. Nobody asks you, because at the end of the month, you are going to get your pay, whatever you do. So there's no system that really tracks whether the teacher who is teaching today is relevant. Because even so, for the textbooks they need constant revision. So teachers also need constant upgradation. So who is there to help? I think the administration, the first of all, the principal, the school head should understand the craving of the individual teacher. He should be there to support him. This is the first. Then we have the whole system at work, because it is the bureaucracy, the bureaucratic system which is in place. When you apply for international scholarships, you have to go through various departments. So your application, that is for also getting a leave, is very difficult for school teachers when you apply abroad. So that is another difficulty that stops teachers. They don't apply because where will I get a leave? And it's not possible to go without pay, because all these scholarships, they don't give you something extra that you earn. It is a stipend that you get during your stay. And we all know that international programs, international universities, or life abroad is much more costlier than in India. So there are so many things involved. So first of all, the school administration needs to give a very good backup. At least the teacher should feel confident and safeguarded from the school that his job is going to be there, or he is not going to face any difficulty or any problem when he returns back from the program. And also the second support is the family, because the family is the most important. Because if your spouse, your kids, everyone needs to support the teacher, or your parents. So you need a joint collaborative support from your office where you work and from your family where you live. So both these should gel together. The support will really make you well armed to really face all the difficult challenges, because getting through an international scholarship is not a cakewalk. It's a very difficult thing because you need to prove your mettle. And for doing that, you need a very calm and composed mindset. So if you are constantly worried, or if you have a lot of tensions going on inside you, it's normal that the teacher who already knows something will tend to get confused or lose his confidence. So I say that it is like a pyramidal structure. All three should work in tandem, and then only you can succeed.
Thank you so much, sir. That is truly inspiring to hear. What has been intellectually rewarding aspect of studying TESOL in UK for you, sir?
The most important thing that I should say, that as I already reiterated, but I should again say that the Indian school curriculum, we always emphasize on rote learning, grammar drills, exam-oriented content. But what TESOL does, it stresses more on the communicative competence, research-driven pedagogy, and also learner-centered approaches. So you learn a lot of new things that you start implementing in your practice. So all the things that you learn, you start feeling that they are really applicable, or they could create a difference in your teaching methods. You don't need to get trained. Definitely you will start evolving into a new being. So you understand what you were failing to do and what you could do now in order to get a much more better results in the class. Because ultimately our students need to say, or they need to bloom. Whatever we do in classes, we can definitely find it from our students. If they can answer well properly, if they feel confident to speak, I think that is what ultimately English language teachers, they need to do. Because at the end of my class, I just see how many students spoke in my class today. And if I find that there were 5 or 6 students new who have just raised their hands and spoken to me in English, I think 90% of the task is done. Because we cannot teach students anything. It's like the Socrates saying, we can only make them think. So if we can initiate the process, once students understand the need and the efficacy of English speaking, they will start nurturing themselves. The process will start working on its own. So TESOL, as a course, it supports this formative portfolio of students and this needs-based evaluation. So it's a constant getting into new ideas. Like in TESOL, I bet that it's very normal for normal English language teachers not to know about the different ELT theories. That is very normal because you don't learn these things in your teacher training degree. But when you do a TESOL course, a full-time TESOL course, you learn about Krashen's input hypothesis, you learn about Swain's output hypothesis, you learn about Cummins' interdependence hypothesis, you learn about Long's interaction hypothesis, Vygotsky's social cultural theory. So there's no end to all these things. And gradually, you start amalgamating the threads from all these theories and start to realize where they come together and how easily they can get into your mindset, and you can start practically doing these things in your classroom, which is going to benefit students in the long run. Because now my students come and tell me, those who have passed class 12 10 years back, sir, you did the right thing, because when you were teaching, we used to criticize you for speaking English throughout the class. You did not resort to the mother tongue. So now we understand that if we had really taken the step that you showed us, we could have been better armed with English skills. But somehow or the other, you were the only person who gave us some exposure, some listening exposure to English. I think these are the little things that TESOL will again ingrain in you, that these are the things that you need to change. You need to constantly remind yourself of.
Yes, that kind of testimonial is really rewarding when we receive it from the students. By the way,
Yes.
can you help us walk us through or walk us through the process of applying for TESOL? If you have any presentation, it will help us understand what are the steps involved in that, how we should apply for it.
How you should apply it, it is all into the websites, which I have a small presentation where I will be telling about all this together, so that it sounds more concrete rather than me saying it aloud here. But one thing that I need to reiterate here again is the application process is most important. That is the part of the application process. It is which is most important is how you answer the questions. It is not only the documents, it is not only the CV, not only the mark sheets that are important, but it is how you deal with the written answers in the application. That is the most important part, because the statements that you write, that you explain your context, or you are being asked to narrate your journey as a teacher, or why you require a scholarship, your financial need, and how you'd use your MSc TESOL course to give back to the ELT field in India. So these things are more crucial than your own accomplishments that you achieved when you were a student. So whoever applies, I should tell, or I should advise that you should be very much vigilant in the way you need to write these answers, because you need to show the clear future goals that you have. You should enumerate them very properly, very significantly, very practically. So you should not write something which is not workable in India. So it has to work in my context. And the teacher should demonstrate a continual engagement with the wider ELT community, because you cannot fake things. When you write something in the application, you cannot write any fake inputs, because that will be evident one way or the other sooner or later. So then you might be penalized or you might be rejected. So that is why it is very important that teachers start on slowly but steadily. Attending workshops, conferences, I think one of the most important things. And that is why I keep telling my colleagues and my wider community to join ELTAI or attend the ELTAI annual conference, because that is the biggest congregation of English teachers that we have in the country. So once we are into a wider network of teachers like ELTAI, we are always clear, or we are always active with something that is going on in the ELT field. So we can definitely write out of our own practical senses. We don't need to make stories, or we don't need to copy from books. So we need to convincingly argue why a fully funded place should be given to me, should be invested in me. because that is what exactly I had to do when I applied for the TESOL scholarship. I had to argue with the university and the British Council why I deserve the scholarship or why I need it for my extra benefit or my journey beyond, or how, in whatever ways, I need to give it back or I can give it back. I hope I'm clear. That is what I really meant to say. Yeah.
Yeah, Arun, sir, you have led a couple of projects. You have participated in a couple of programs. Which of the programs had uh, biggest impact on your evaluation or evolution as a teacher?
There have been many programs that I have participated, but one program which was done in West Bengal by an NGO, Vikramshila Education Resource Society, along with the Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, RMSA. So they had a program which the West Bengal government took it up in their schools. It was called the E2E program, the Education to Employability. So it was a program where students of class 9 and 10 were given specific training in a specific module on three separate strands. One is communicative English, and the second one was career development, and the third was IT skills. So we had a package, and there were 20 or 30 classes devoted to this E2E program. So during this program, I was one of the co-trainers. So I got the unique privilege to work as a co-trainer for this program, and it really worked wonderfully well. And this was a paper that I presented at the TESOL annual conference in Toronto. And this was very well accepted because it demonstrated how students from low economic backgrounds, low resource contexts can start getting employable, or they can start finding themselves employable when they leave class 12. So the program E2E, it focused on 4-year students, that is class 9, 10, 11, 12. So it was like a bridge, giving them the necessary skills that the students require to be employable in the job market. Because all students, they are not very good students who pass out from schools, but they could not be let to fade away. They also need to do some jobs. And for every piece of work, they need training. So these students were taught, all the students were taught according to this module, how you can communicate in English, or how you can make a choice of your career, or how you can do vocational trainings. What are the different aspects which are open before you after you pass out class 12? What are the basic IT skills that are being required? How to write a CV, or how to talk about your biodata, for example, how to sell yourself. So this was a unique module that was prepared by the Vikramshila Education Resource Society along with RMSA. And we had this project running in West Bengal in select government schools, which later was done in the cascade mode. But it was one of the most convincingly practical teacher training sessions that I attended as a core educator, which really helped me grow and see the real context in India and understand what our students really need. So this was one of the papers that got accepted in TESOL. So I could understand that this was also equally applicable in countries, other countries. So people were really interested to hear what India was doing, or what West Bengal was doing, or what was the uniqueness of this project.
Amazing. We have yet another interesting question in the chat box by Shalom, and he asks, how good are the online TESOL programs in comparison to the hands-on courses? So can you make that comparison for us?
Yes, the online teaching, see this MSc TESOL that I'm doing, it is also online. but it is a full-time degree. So there's no basic difference between the students who are in the UK, they are a full-time course they're doing. It is the same. We are doing it online. But the other courses that we have a plethora of courses on the web. So it differs because the time is something which is creating the difference, because there are certain TESOL courses which are done for a period, maybe say 3 months or maybe a fortnight. So since the time period is short, they ought to be focusing on very specific aspects rather than going deeper. So maybe you only see one portion or one slice of a module, since the time period is very short. Because I have attended several Relo MOOCs, the massive open online courses. They are very good, they're very engaging, but they are not so intensive or so exhaustive, whatever I should say, with a full-time degree, which is much more involving, because it keeps you on tenterhooks. You're always into a continuous process. So it ends. So the shorter the program is, you can expect to learn a lot, but then you don't go much deeper. But in a full-time course, you get a lot more exposure to various aspects of the TESOL methodology, as well as you get more time to experiment, well, more time to implement in your setting, because when you have the assignments coming up, you need to practically implement whatever you have learned with something with your scenario. So there's the challenge where you implement or transfer those skills into the practical arena. So you don't get so much of exposure, or the field is not as expansive as the other courses. So the duration of the course is something which creates a difference.
Thank you so much, Arindam sir. Now there is a small delight for our audiences. What you're about to see is a short visual glimpse of our guest's recent academic visit to the University of Scotland. And now this is a moment that captures learning beyond borders from Arindam sir's point of view. Now this clip will also serve as you know, a perfect endpoint of today's conversation also.
Hello, everybody. I am Arindam Sengupta from Kolkata, India. I teach English in Hare School, one of the most esteemed government schools in the country, and I have come to the University of Stirling to pursue an MSc in TESOL, funded by the British Council Scholarship for English Language Teachers, India. I am now in the spectacular green environment of Stirling campus, which has left me profoundly in awe. I would highly recommend all Indian teachers of English like me to aspire for this coveted scholarship from the British Council to do a master's in TESOL from the University of Stirling, so that they can all apply like me and emerge victorious for this spectacular course that really takes you to new professional heights. The key takeaways of this spectacular TESOL online course include gathering a deep, insightful knowledge on TESOL methodologies, coupled with the cutting edge techniques and strategies that could make learning happen more effectively in ESL classrooms in multilingual settings like that of India. Loads of thanks to the British Council for helping me come to Stirling and gain a strong foothold in my teaching career that has really enriched my professional experiences both as a learner and as an educator. So come to Stirling and be the difference. So come to Stirling and be the difference. Be the difference is the motto of the University of Stirling. The difference lies in transformation, changing lives, collaboration, research, and unending ways of developing your professional skills. And the list goes on and on, it's endless. Come and discover the difference.
That was truly inspiring, wasn't it? A journey that began in classrooms and it's taking us to global academic spaces now. On a lighter note, we have a rapid fire round for fun in audience engagement. Now we'll have 30 seconds each, and let's start with the question. No thinking, sir. My first question is Scotland or Canada? Better coffee.
Scotland.
That's wonderful.
Well, one book that every English teacher must read.
50 Strategies for English Language Teachers by Heddle and Jordan. It's a Pearson book.
We would love to hear one word your closest colleagues would use for you.
Pedantic.
Okay. The most Indian thing you missed abroad.
Well, there are many things. Rice and dal.
Oh,
Though I prepared myself, yes, but yes, mishti doi.
And finally, not least, what's next for Arindam Sengupta?
It's a continuous journey. My completing this TESOL course with a good grade, that is the greatest challenge now. So that is the next, which is ongoing.
That is wonderful, sir. That is truly wonderful. And coming to our final question, after all your international experiences, what is one belief about teaching or learning that has become stronger than ever, you would say?
That is, I should say that you should always build a visible professional engagement. You should always build a very good network of teachers so that you don't feel that you're alone. Build a professional portfolio for yourself and start doing something along with a teacher fraternity. So build your teacher tribe. Don't grow alone. You need people. We need ELTAI. We need such a space where we can really prosper and build our own skills, develop our own skills.
yeah, that's very true. And that's where the role of ELTAI comes in picture. We work together for professional development of each other. So please help us joining these webinars or attending the conferences that we conduct and many more programs.
Yes, I just saw a chat here to repeat the name of the book. Well, it's 50 Strategies for Teaching English Language Learners. It is by Heddle and Jordan. And it is the book is good because all the methods and techniques of ELT, they are written in a very lucid format within 1 or 2 pages. So that is a good starting point for all teachers to start discovering more about ELT. So should I, Rahul, go through the presentation?
Yes, we'll have 10 minutes to
Okay.
conclude that. Yeah.
So I will just rush through it,
Yes.
not much. Okay. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, this is a small presentation on the course that I'm doing so that it benefits everybody. So I just titled it as per the webinar's title today. So it is about my transformative journey, not about beating my own drum, but giving budding teachers more information about the scholarship so that you can also apply for the next academic year, for which the information would start rolling out in March. So the flow of my talk as I rush through is the MSc TESOL online program that I'm pursuing from Sterling, the key objectives and outcomes, and also to give you some idea about the British Council Scholarship for English Language Teachers India, which really gives you access to this whole course, the broader picture, and what you can do later. This is a picture of the Stirling campus and the Wallace Monument. This is all taken from the website, but it is exactly as it is. As you can see, Stirling is one of the most beautiful places in the world, and this is exactly the gateway to the Highlands, the Scottish Highlands that we have all read about in English literature. So be the difference, as I said in the short video. I'm sorry that I repeated a lot because it was done in small slots. But be the difference is the motto of the University of Stirling, and the strategic plan, which tells here that in the heart of Scotland, Stirling really takes steps to transform the lives of people across the world. It really does. Because once I am here already through this course, I'm in the year 2 of this online MSc TESOL course, I can really feel the difference in the way I teach and learn. The University of Stirling campus, again, a breathtaking site. This is the loch, for lake that we call in Scottish or Gaelic. So the loch really encircles the whole university, and it's an amazingly beautiful place. It is the first in ranking in Scotland in campus as a university, and also among the 10 top in the world. So the MSc TESOL online program, at a glance, if I wish to talk about the duration, the start date, and the delivery, because this is what is very important for people here. Sorry, where did it go? Is it visible? Yes. So the duration is, it is part-time, that it is 30 months comprising 24 months of modules followed by 6 months dissertation. And the start date, the next intake, that is for the next academic year, is September 26. So teachers, now you can have a lot of time in preparing your documents if you want to apply, because once you get to know about the scholarship, you can start preparing yourselves. And the delivery is totally online. And this is the best part, which you can access from anywhere across the country, and you can do it at your own pace. So the program, the MSc TESOL program, is mainly for any ESL or EFL teacher who is teaching English in schools in India. And it is very unique because it gives you a chance to reflect on teaching practices with peers and tutors, as well as implement research-informed methodologies and gain a globally recognized professional qualification. Now, most of these points that I'm going through is from the portal of the University of Stirling. So once you go to the portal, the link I will share at the end, so you can get all these points there. So it's just giving you a bird's eye view of the whole program and the university. So you have an option to choose your specialization as you do the course. It is either a general MSc TESOL, where you learn about the teaching methodologies and applied linguistics and the diverse TESOL contexts, or you can also specialize in MSc TESOL by using computer-assisted language learning and become more adept at the cutting-edge techniques and tools of IT. The key learning outcomes of the programs are across various fields. First, it is you get to know thorough grounding in applied linguistics and methodology of TESOL, and also technology, the effective use of technology in the classroom. You get to know about curriculum and classroom management and acquire all the tools and all the theories which are necessary. You can do a lot of reflective teaching because it is theoretical, practical, and research-based all together. And it also opens the doors of professional development because you start becoming more job applicable. And there are a couple of My Career in TESOL workshop series. So the university guides you to become more armed in teaching ELT as a subject. So the unique approach of the MSc TESOL in Stirling is it's a blend of theory, practice, and research. And the experienced educators, those who are in the faculty, they have taught English across the globe. So they bring a wealth of international perspectives into the curriculum, and you graduate fully with your career in teaching English to speakers of other languages, equipped with a comprehensive skill set and a global outlook. The course objectives, which deepens your expertise, which gives you a robust foundation to the course, is you start reflecting upon your personal and professional beliefs, which I have already said during the question answer session, and you get to a chance to demonstrate your groundings. So there's a lot of practical element embedded into the course, and you critically start to learn, adopt, and adapt English language teaching activities and materials effectively. This picture again shows the Stirling campus shot by myself, and again it talks about the advanced analytical skills which are a part of the TESOL course, where you can evaluate theory and research, inform curricular development. So I'm not going deeper, I'm just giving you a feel of the program where you can also manage your own learning. So these inputs are available in the portal. I'm just showing here so that everyone can catch a glimpse of what the program entails. So this program, this course gives a lot of opportunities for professional growth, because there is also a small scale research project embedded into the course, what we call the dissertation part. And this fosters independent inquiry as you start deepening your understanding of pedagogical challenges and solutions in TESOL. So this curriculum is constantly upgraded to meet the growing demands of the TESOL job market all across the globe. So this UK degree is very highly relevant in today's times, and it is highly sought after by people from all nations. So this is what the TESOL course is, so very demanding, and it is so very welcoming, as it impacts your teaching, it advances your career, and it also opens doors for global opportunities. Then I come to the British Council scholarship, which really makes it possible for teachers like us to pursue such a coveted degree in Stirling. So what are these scholarships? Just to give you a small glimpse. So these are fully funded for English teachers and teacher educators in India. So we get a chance, teachers like us get a chance to do an online postgraduate programs. So it is either MSc or an MA TESOL in applied linguistics. The scholarship covers full tuition fees, one successful IELTS exam fee. So IELTS is one of the core exams that we need to give once all your documentation is done and you are given a place, an unconditional place of study. You get travel, visa, and insurance, and you also get a stipend during the UK visit. So this online distant learning model really is very convenient for full-time teachers like me, because it is designed for working teachers and it gives a blended experience. So teachers can continue teaching while studying like I'm doing without needing to take long leave, and the distant learning fits into the professional schedules, which allows the applications of learning directly into our classroom. And though the degree is online, there is a 2-week fully funded residential visit to the UK university, which is one of the most sought after features of this course. So it is partly offline as well, because you get a chance to visit UK and Scotland as part of this course. So it also gives you a direct university culture experience, as you get an immersive experience there in the UK, as you network and you engage socially and personally with the students and the teachers there. This is a picture of my visit this year with my friend or colleague, because we were only 2 teachers who were selected for this program in the 2024 cohort. And this is Narayan Singh. He is from Himachal Pradesh, a school teacher like me. And this is our field visit picture in Edinburgh and Glasgow. So what makes this program high quality program, highly sought after? It is due to the academic excellence, because it really gives a rigorous postgraduate experience. And the distant learning program is structured over many months. So we don't have the pressure altogether heaped up on our shoulders. It is step by step, and it is stretched through a longer period of time. So it's a 30-month part-time MSc model. And the selection is rigorously done. So it's not that everyone gets a chance, because you can already imagine we were only 2 who were selected from the Indian subcontinent. So it was very difficult. I never imagined that I would win, But anyway, since I have been able to be successful, I am sure many other teachers can also do once they do it in the right way. So a very limited number of scholarships are there. Selection is competitive and merit-based. So what you get out of it, beyond the degree, there are a host of things are really beneficial for us. So as a scholar, British Council scholar, you get access to international academic curriculum. You get the opportunity to build lasting networks with peers and education leaders across India and the UK. And there is an ongoing engagement with the British Council and the alumni who continuously support to enhance your impact in your schools and communities. I think this is beyond the degree, which is more important. You don't stop with the TESOL course. You carry on throughout your teaching career. So it is very flexible and practical, as I said. So you keep learning, staying connected to your classroom. And there are hosts of webinars, online modules, reading assignments that you do. And you have also a 2-week visit to the university, which really gives you that university flavor that we Indian teachers can never imagine to get without a full year taking leave. So professional development is very crucial. This again boils down to the main context of our talk today. That is, it is most needed for us teachers because English language proficiency in teaching quality are central to student success. So it is both needed for the teacher and the student, and it has to be continuous so that teachers can get chance to refresh their pedagogies, integrate technology, and adopt evidence-based methods. I will ask all teachers who have your career trajectory. So you will get a lot of curriculum innovation, leadership roles, and chances for peer mentorship. And last but not the least is going to strengthen confidence to handle diverse classrooms and modern teaching tools. And scholars, after you win the scholarship, you become a part of a global alumni network of the British Council, which will open lifelong doors to professional engagement. And these networks they're very active globally. So they keep on supporting the network, the teacher alumni, by constantly sharing their knowledge and developing projects together. There are several grants also available. And you get a continuous chance for engagement and visibility. So you get offers to go abroad and also attend conferences, present papers. So they contribute policy insights as well, grounded in real classroom practice, which is a rare and valuable voice at a national and international policy tables. You also get a lot of access to leadership research and influence through the Hornby and British Council networks. Some scholars also get access to project funding to run development programs, needs analysis, and teacher training initiatives. And in many cases, alumni go on to mentor, train, and inspire other teachers, like I'm doing now in this webinar, through this webinar, multiplying the original impact of scholarship across regions and institutions. Now, this really matters for English teachers in India, and that is why we are holding this webinar today, for the extra professional development and career edge that we need to arm ourselves with. So first of all, it enhances our teaching quality. It leverages global pedagogy by exposure to world standards and academic practices. It accelerates your career because you keep on rising up the Bloom's ladder of taxonomy, so as to say. You can build lifelong connections to global educators. So it builds networks that I said, build your teacher tribe. So you can do that. And you are constantly being able to contribute to teacher development projects, national workshops, policy insights, which will set you apart from the whole learning faculty. You can be really a star in the field of teaching. So before I end, a few parting words of advice from a teacher learner like me is keep a simple, regular record of your teaching. So start documenting of your real classroom practice, because this is what you need to write when you apply for the scholarships. And start small, as I said, read an academic article daily, try one new activity, what you have come across in any resource book or from a conference or from a webinar. There are unending ways you can really start small. And let's create a micro learning community where we can all share our strategies, our methods, our materials, and also try to find answers to some challenging aspects that we come across in our teaching. And we should always keep on nurturing a growth mindset. So that could be done best by attending ELTAI conferences, especially joining MOOCs of the British Council, and also becoming a regular attendee of British Council Teaching English Asia webinars. So they have a Facebook group. So there the webinars are all there, and they are held from time to time. So they are wonderful ways how you can really keep yourself updated to teaching and learning techniques. So dare to apply even when you are unsure of yourself. So I know that many teachers like me, you are feeling trepidated, but I should say that start gaining confidence in yourself and start applying for these courses so that you can become a better teacher educator in your next innings. These are the additional links I wish to share of the British Council Teach English website, which are all uploaded. So the Teacher Connect workshops are all uploaded in the YouTube channels or the British Council Teaching English websites. So I would encourage all teachers to visit these sites and see the loads of materials that are uploaded there. So they are a very good resource, an unending resource, a continuous resource to develop your teaching skills. So this is the Sterling portal, which I have just shared in the last slide with a quote, which I find it very relevant, that people will always try to say that what is the use of doing this course? Because this I constantly get from people. Why are you doing this? So I think the answer to this is the quote that I have shared, because otherwise I would be uneducated the day after. And here is my email. So if anyone wishes to contact me with more information, I'd be very happy to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sengupta. What an engaging and thought-provoking discussion we've had today. I am truly, truly honored. On behalf of ELTAI, I'd like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our distinguished guest speaker for this time and insights. And I thank my co-host, Dr. Rahul Kalesa, for hosting this interview with me. Well, behind the scenes, there is a dedicated team that works tirelessly to ensure the success of ELTAI webinars. And I thank the seniors, mentors for the valuable and timely input. A special thanks to Banu, a backbone of the organizing team, for his hard work in committing to organizing these webinars. And last but certainly not least, a heartfelt thank you to our participants from abroad and, of course, all corners of India. Your active participations, questions, and insights make these webinars not just informative, but also a platform for rich discussions and global collaboration. And please don't forget to fill out a feedback form. Certificates will be issued only to school, UG, and PG students, LTI members, and foreign nationals.
Thank you, Kavita. Ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap up, a few more announcements. Please mark your calendars and save the date for our next insightful webinar on Sunday, January 25th, 2026, next year. We have a captivating session planned for you, all of you. The topic of that webinar is When IKS Meets Anthropology, Rethinking the Language Education of Adult Students. This engaging session will be conducted by Professor Geeta Durairajan and Professor Sri Deepa from Hyderabad, and I'm sure you will find it very enriching. Can we have the poster of the webinar, please? Thank you. You will find the registration link in the chat box.
And you'll have the additional information about this exciting webinar in the chat box and also in the website. And remember, your active participation is not only encouraged, but essential to the success of our events. Let's continue the journey of professional development together.
Great. Now it's time for a group photograph. I request everyone to turn their videos on. Let's capture this moment together and make it very memorable. I request everyone to start their videos, please. Everyone, please start your cameras so that we can capture this moment together. Get ready for the photograph, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Let's have one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for the photograph. Well, with this, I, Rahul Kale, sign off for now, and I look forward to meeting you in the next webinar. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, sir.